This is David Young. David's a deputy head teacher at a primary school.
I've had a number of headship interviews, all of which have been unsuccessful. I'm hoping that maybe with a little advice I can actually find what's going wrong and improve on my technique.
In order to identify David's weaknesses, we've set up a mock interview for a head teacher position. He'll be interviewed by this panel. Michelle Joyce is a primary head teacher. Diane Smith is an ex-head with 14 years governing experience. And Mel Woodcock spent 15 years as a secondary head teacher. The interview will be observed by Gladeana McMahon, a life coach who'll help identify the areas David needs to work on.
Come in, David.
Hi, how do you do?
Have a seat, please.
Thank you.
We're going to ask you to show us your presentation, and then we're going to do some follow-up questions on that. Okay?
That's brilliant, yeah.
And so it begins.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background, your experience to date, and why you've applied for this particular role?
Right. In that order, it's very hard, isn't it?
Just take your time.
Right. It's hard to talk about yourself, isn't it, in that sense. I entered teaching reasonably late, to be honest. I've only been teaching around about...
Could you think of 5 qualities that you've got very strong that you could bring to our school?
5 qualities. Hopefully, I mean, it doesn't come across in interviews really, but it's usually the humour, isn't it? If you can actually get people feeling a bit happier, that does help. I can actually interact on many levels with quite a few people in the actual community. I'm also a good listener. Is that 4? Is that 4?
No, David, that's 3.
That'll do.
That'll do.
Can I ask you to reflect on an incident which you thought was quite pivotal in your development, which has led you to moving forward, both personally and professionally?
Right. An incident that's helped me to become a better manager or dealing with them.
That you've learnt from and it's taken you forward?
It's very difficult. I can't...
I think it's those moments when your heart sort of stopped moments. Think of those times in your career you suddenly had a moment that, you know, you felt, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with this?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's probably quite a few over the years, isn't there? But it's just picking the ones and taking it back. And it's, I mean, I can remember. I can't really think of the incident. Can we come back to that question?
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Essentially, what will a school under your leadership be about?
Our school will be a loving, caring school. And you'll feel it as soon as you walk through the door. I'm hoping that you would come in, as you walk through our school, you will be able to talk to children, you would feel relaxed, the children would look relaxed. You will not just see children work, you will feel them working.
You say the school will be full of confident children and you can feel that. How will you do that?
You have to give children empowerment, you have to give them, children have to be part of the process. A lot of schools these days have things like school councils where children are given a voice. Even though it was a short panel, I found it quite daunting and my mind went blank. You know, some of the questions went blank. 1 or 2 I felt a bit comfortable with, but quite a few, my mind just seized and I wanted the floor to open up.
My first impression was, why is he not wearing a full suit? Didn't appear to have made much of an effort. And his delivery of the presentation, in my opinion, was that it was aimed at primary children and not an interview panel.
Well, I think the eye contact for a start, that would have engaged us more. The expression in his voice, he needs to be up and, you know. He also didn't smile. It wasn't inspiring, really. I know he's nervous, but I think at head teacher level, you do have many times when you're in the situation where it's a nerve-wracking experience and you've got to learn to have strategies to still inspire while still being nervous.
This document, National Standards for Head Teachers, that's got set out in it the standards that the head teachers are expected to meet. Most interviews for a headship would be formed around those standards.
So really, Mel, you're saying anybody who's going to go for a head teacher job ought to really know this?
Inside out. Well, inside out. They wanted to hear coming through the sort of cycle of audit, device solution, get people on board for solution. It came through as being a bit touchy-feely and a bit, you know, let's all have a nice, happy school with these nice, happy parents and sit down and have a cup of tea. Yeah.
He wasn't prepared, absolutely not prepared. And I think that's been his downfall.
Okay, thank you. Right, well, David.
Hi.
Shall I give you a little bit of feedback?
Oh, go on then.
It's not as bad as you think, David, honestly.
Right.
Nobody is disputing at all your passion, your care and your concern for the kids that are in your care.
Right.
However, you don't have any authority.
No.
And that's something we're going to have to work on.
Right.
Because if you think about it, you want to be a leader, right? Now, you may well, back at your school, be a leader,
Right.
but you've got to demonstrate to that panel when you get in there that you really are a leader. You have authority. So one of the things that we want to look at is your body language.
Right.
The other thing I was going to suggest was, have you seen this?
I've not used it, no.
Okay, so I'm going to give that to
Thank
you
you.
now. I'm going to suggest that you learn that parrot fashion.
Right.
Because every question at headship level is going to link back into that. Every question you get asked, at the back of your mind think, which one of those standards is it going back to? And if under each of those you have a number of examples of how you can say, when this issue happened at the school, this is what we did.
Yes.
Then the question at the back of your mind is, which one of those does it link in with?
So preparation and authority are David's shortcomings, and Gladeana wants to knock him into shape.
Hi David, lovely to see you again. Are you ready?
Yes.
Come on in then.
With that in mind, they've come here to the theatre. Emma Stafford's an acting coach, and she'll be working with David this afternoon on those issues.
What we're going to do is we're going to read through the script first of all, okay, so we'll go all the way through it and see how you get on, and then I'm going to give you some notes and some feedback. So in your own time, whenever you're ready.
Have you been here before, love? It's okay, there's no need to be so nervous. Once we get going, you'll relax.
Yeah.
So what's it you're after? The full works or just a £5-pounder?
Just a £5 please.
Okay, pass me a hand. Let's have a look at your line before we get started.
What can you see? What can you see?
The script requires David's character to be confident, authoritative, aggressive and flirty.
Well, I am hot stuff.
There's more than one.
What do you mean, more than one?
You've got 5 marriage lines and no separations. I've seen it and I'm never ever wrong. Never.
You haven't seen anything, lady.
You're already married twice and this is number 3.
How can you see that in a hand?
I'm a medium, that's my job. That's what you paid me for. It's illegal, you know. I'm going to call the police. You just can't do that.
You're not going to call the police. If you do that, I'll come back and burn this shack down. You said there was fire around me. No, I didn't think so.
Okay, not bad. There's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about that really sort of stand out. 2 main things, really. First of all is your eye line, okay? It's really important that you have your eye line to the other actor. If you've got eye contact with somebody whilst you're talking, you know, you come across as being more interesting and more confident, yeah, okay? The second thing was your delivery. Bit flat. Monotone delivery, yeah, okay? And that comes from putting some passion into what you're saying, okay? So having some self-belief about what it is that you're talking about. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the script, and I'm going to sort of talk to you about how we break down the script. But this is to do with prep work, yeah? You know, so that script is what, you know, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes maximum, yeah? But you could spend, you know, maybe a day or 2 days actually prepping for that and working on it, yeah? And then you come in, 2 minutes, you're in here with me, maybe 5 minutes, and then you're gone. That's it, you know? And what that does is your preparation gives you confidence.
It's not hard to translate that advice into an interview situation, so David gets to work preparing each of his characters' lines, and 20 minutes later his performance is noticeably better.
I see fire around you.
Well, I am hot stuff.
Ah.
What is it?
It's your love line, it's your marriage line.
What about it?
There's more than one.
More than one? What are you on about, more than one?
Well, there's 5.
5?
Yeah, 5.
What I want you to do is I want you to walk round, and as we're walking round, I'm going to shout out those words to you, okay, that we describe the character with. And I want you to start really feeling those words that I'm saying out to you and start to have a bit of belief that they belong to you, okay? So off you go. So confident.
Confident.
Ooh, say it louder.
Confident.
Brilliant, okay. Attention seeker.
Attention seeker.
Okay, keep going, keep going. Head up, shoulders back. Flirty.
Flirty.
Keep walking, keep that energy going. I want you to say, I am. So confident.
I am confident.
Again.
I am confident.
Brilliant, okay. Flirtatious.
I am flirtatious.
Think about being flirtatious for me. I'd be slightly scared if you were flirting with me right now, so.
And I am flirtatious.
Brilliant. So let's try confident again.
I am confident.
Fantastic. So let's go back into it. So straight into it for me, okay?
Oh, hello, love. Have you been here before? Oh, well, don't worry. There's nothing to be nervous about. Let's have your hand. What do you want? Do you want the full works or do you just want a £5?
Just give us a £5.
Okay.
What is it? What can you see?
Something odd.
Odd? What do you mean, odd?
As far as I'm concerned, it's a ring the police job. You can't go
You're
around-
not ringing the police.
I've got protection, so don't try it on me.
Don't talk about protection. You said I've got fire around me. I'll be back. I'll be back and I'll burn this shack down and you in it.
I'm not doing this. I'm going. You can do. Well done. So, what do you think that's taught you that you can now take back for your next interview?
I think one of the things that this morning I learnt was basically preparation and to get a feeling for the actual interview. Get myself psyched up, think about the job in hand, think about my answers, you know, and in a way, I presume, taking control of the interview. Because I've never done that before. It's always seemed that I'm just the person who's there to answer these questions.
Well, I think you've hit the nail right on the head. When you say about taking control, it's actually about being present. And your presence really improved a lot doing that exercise. And your thing about preparation is spot on, because you know what the role's going to be. You've got data on it. You know the school. You can imagine the kinds of questions that you would be asked. And that's your preparation.
Yes.
And then you've got 3 or 4 different answers maybe for different kinds of questions so that you could have got flexibility and you can put those over. And then the other thing is your presence when you were walking around, that from the minute you walk in, I mean, actually most of us, it's 6 seconds and you make an instant impression on someone. So if you think about that instant impression, when you walk in and you are confident, you've got the eye line, you've got the handshake, you sit down, that's authority.
That's right. Working with somebody, a professional who knows how to bring the best out of a person, I think has really helped me. I now am ready to go into an interview knowing that I've got the ability to actually take that job.